Okay, today we're going to talk about 2 Nephi 14. It's a small chapter. Again, we're going into Isaiah chapter 14 again. Isaiah chapter 4. But just before we start, I think some chapters it's worth reading a little bit before. And this is the first verses before, because it runs into it. Chapters are something that we've made arbitrarily, not arbitrarily. They're not there in the original text. They're usually put there afterwards. So we sometimes the text actually runs into the next chapter quite well, and this is one of those. And so I'll probably do this quite often, more than once. And it says, "And it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell there shall be a stink, instead of a girdle a rent, instead of well-set hair baldness, instead of a stomacher a girdle of sackcloth and burning, instead of beauty." Talking specifically about the daughters of Zion, or the women in the last days. And then it says, "Thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in war. Her gate shall lament and mourn and be desolate, and shall sit upon the ground." And see how this fits together. "And the day, in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, We will eat of your bread and wear your apparel. Only let us be called by thy name, to take away our reproach." Talking about that there would be few men there on the earth at that time, because of the battles and things like that. So you see how that fits. It just fits in there. But then it goes on to something. It just kind of flips. This is the flip side. This is now telling about what's going to happen after all this happens. "And in that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth excellent and comely, to them that are escaped of Israel. And it shall come to pass that they that are left in Zion and remain in Jerusalem shall be called holy, every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem. And the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof, by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning." So you can see that flip. You don't get that if you just read chapter 14 alone, but you just read those few verses ahead, and you see where at one moment there is this filth and horrible, death, and then on the other side, those that are left will be called holy and be washed away. The filth and the scabbiness and all the things he describes before will be taken away. And then it says, these last 2 verses, it says, "The Lord will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion and upon her assemblies a cloud and smoke by day and a shining flame by night. And upon the glory of Zion shall be a defense. Upon all the glory of Zion shall be a defense. And there shall be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and a place of refuge and covert from the storm and from the rain." This is talking, gives the imagery of the heritage that they're talking, that they come from. Of course, Israel, when they left Egypt, when Moses took them into the desert, one of the things that they had was they had a pillar of fire by night and a pillar of smoke by day that led them. By night as they sat, the pillar of fire was over the tabernacle. Again, they mention the tabernacle. The tabernacle is the precursor to the temple. And what we're seeing here is he's saying that I will do the same things for you. I will guide you. I'll lead you the same way that I led Israel into the wilderness. That you will follow the pillar of fire and the pillar of smoke, and that's how they knew where to go and where they should be. And the same thing with us. When we read the scriptures, when we listen to these things, and we follow the prophets, we have the same a spiritual pillar and cloud to follow. And the tabernacle representing the temple. We go to the temple. We get that personal revelation and make those covenants of the Lord. Those are the things that will keep us going the way that the Lord wants us to go and being in where we should be. In Nephi's time, they had the Liahona, and it acted the same way. And this here, they're talking about those that, after desolation and destruction, these people are survived because this is what they are doing. They are listening, they're following the examples of the prophets. And so when you read that, that's the things that I think you should look at. And we'll talk more in next chapter.